Hello, my dear students. How are you? This is gonna be the last lesson in our semester or in this year, natural forces. First of all, I want to show you a video, then we will discuss the lesson. Stay with me. Let's see this video. Now, what can you see here? We have trees and the trees are moving. If I ask you now, what makes these trees move? You will tell me the wind. Type another question. Can you see the wind? Of course, you can't see the wind, but you can feel it, or you can see the way it makes trees move. So, today we will talk about another source of another forces, sorry. Today we will talk about different kind of forces. We talked about push, pull, and twist. Today we will talk about natural forces. The first one of them is the wind. Like we have seen, the wind makes things move without touching them. Again, let's see here. Now please at home underline this. Objects can also move without the humans pushing, pulling, or twisting them. If you look out of the window, you might see trees moving. Wind is moving air. So the first thing again is the wind. You can't see the wind, but you can see the way it makes trees move, and you can feel it. You can feel there is wind in that place. Wind can blow sand or knock objects over. يعني if the wind is very strong, it can blow sand and it can turns things over. Wind is an example of a natural force. So again, wind is a natural force. Natural means from nature, something from God. Not human-made, but natural. It can be a weak or a strong force. It depends on the wind. Sometimes the wind is weak, sometimes it's strong. Let's see how the wind can blow sand. Notice here the sand. So it's obvious that this video is taken from a desert. We have small trees and the trees are moving. Also the sand, can you see here this part where the sand is moving or blowing? So again, what makes these particles of sands moving is the wind. Let's see now how wind can turn things over and knock objects over. If the wind is very strong, it can damage. Let's see here how can wind be damaging. And it can be stronger than that, okay? These videos are real. There are more, but there is not enough time to see them all. Okay, so sometimes the wind, if the wind is very strong, it can be damaging. Now let's go back. And the most important use of wind is to make the boats move, the sailing boats move. We have here three different types of boats. Question 1. Which needs the strongest pushing force? The sailing ship. Sails mean the boat that have sails. These are the sails. The sailing ship, the boat, here is the boat, or the sand yacht. This one, sand yacht, they use it on sand. What's wrong with me with the sound? So again, which one needs the strongest pushing? Which one? It's obviously the sailing ship. It needs because it's the biggest. Of course, it needs the strongest pushing. Type, what happens if the wind stops blowing? Now, if there is no wind, what will happen? Are they going to move? Of course not, they will not move. But if they have engines, the engines can help them to move. The boats stop moving, so they will stop moving. And what would make the pushing force stronger? The pushing force, what makes it stronger? If the wind was stronger, this will make the pushing force stronger. If the wind is strong already, so the pushing force will be stronger. Or if the boat had bigger sails. These sails, if the sails are big, this will make or give a pushing force that is stronger. Now let's see here in this video how wind helps the sails of the boat move.
So that allows us to go almost any direction we want to go except for directly into the wind. Okay.
Here is a
Hang on, now
boat
go
with
straight.
sails.
Go straight for just a
And if the
second. Okay,
sails,
get the
if the
boat.
sails are bigger, the pushing force will be stronger.
Back up. Just go straight for a second.
So modern sailing's not all about.
Now let's talk about something else. Let me see. Okay. Now there is something called windmill. Windmills are tools. They are tools or instruments. They use the force or the power of wind to make them move, and they use it to generate electricity. And sometimes they use these windmills to make electricity or to generate electricity, and we will talk about another use of them. Here they are. If there is wind, they will move, and by moving they will generate electricity. Again, we call them windmill. They use the force or the power of wind. They have special fields. Now, we talked about the wind. We have finished the wind. Now let's talk about another force or another natural force, which is the water. Let's see. Water can also push with a very strong force. Have you ever seen the damage a flood can do? Waves and floods can knock down even large and heavy objects like the wind. If the wind is strong, it can damage also the water. It can damage and knock down every object. Let's see here an example of these damaging. Here, a hole damaging. This is when the water is very strong. So, wind and water can also be useful forces. What does that mean? يعني you can use the force of wind and the force of water to make useful things, to use them in useful things. Let's see an example. People have used the force of wind and water to help them for a long time. Windmills have been used to grind flour for almost 2000 years. What does the grinding flour mean? Flour that we use to make cake and pastries. They use the windmills, the power of windmills, to grind them, يعني to smash them, to make small particles out of them or to crush them. Let's see how they use this power or this force of the wind other than the generating electricity, they use the windmill for grinding flour. Here it is. Here is the windmill again. It uses the power or the force of the wind. This is from inside. From inside they put the seeds of the wheat. They put the seeds and they use this power to grind or to crush to make powder out of these seeds. And what makes them move? The force of wind. Here it is, see? So people used to use this from long time ago. Do you understand the idea of using wind and water and making useful things? We have something else called the water mill. Just a minute. Similar to this one, but it uses the power of the water. It's called the water mill. Let me show it to you. Here is the water mill, uses the power of water or the force of water. See? When the wheel moves, they use the wheel to also maybe grinding flour, the same idea as the windmill. Here it is. It's moving, and while it's moving, they use the power of it. Do you understand? So again, these are two natural forces. طيب, what makes the windmill turn? يعني in the exam, if I bring you this question, windmill, what makes it turn? The force of wind, or you can just choose wind. What would make the windmill turn faster? What makes it turn faster? If the wind was stronger, and if the wind was stronger, it will move faster. Why do you think the windmill is a very useful machine? Because it uses a natural force. Yani you don't have to work, and as humans, you don't have to work in this field, but it uses a natural force. Can you think of a problem with windmills? What is the problem of it? Yeah, if there is no wind, they don't work. What makes a water wheel turn? Like the one I showed you, the water wheel. Water wheel, what makes it turn? The force of water. This is all about your lesson. Hope you enjoy it and thank you for listening. Have a nice day. If you have any question, you're free to ask me anytime. Thank you.